That smell when you walk into Costco's bakery section? The warm, buttery aroma that makes your mouth water and your wallet open? It is all a carefully designed illusion. And what is really inside those giant muffins and oversized cookies might just ruin your next bulk bakery haul forever. You might think you are getting a deal. Fresh baked goods at warehouse prices. But here is the thing. Fresh is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence, and baked might not mean what you think it means. Before you grab that 24-pack of croissants, or that sheet cake the size of a small mattress, you might want to hear what former bakery employees are saying, because the truth behind those glass display cases is not as sweet as the frosting on top. From frozen lies to chemical cocktails, from sugar bombs to allergen roulette, Costco's bakery has secrets that would make your member card feel a whole lot heavier if you knew them. If you have got Costco bakery items sitting in your kitchen right now, do not panic. Just keep watching. Let us start with the biggest lie in the bakery aisle. That fresh baked label? It is technically true, but only if you consider thawing and reheating the same thing as baking. Because here is what Costco does not advertise. Nothing in their bakery section is made from scratch on site. Former Costco bakery employees have been spilling the truth online for years. One worker from California described the process like this: "We do not bake. We thaw, proof, and heat. The dough comes pre-made, pre-portioned, and pre-shaped. My job was setting oven timers and rotating trays." Another employee put it more bluntly: "It is an assembly line with convection ovens, not a bakery. The croissants that look so golden and flaky? They arrive in frozen sheets, stacked in boxes like cardboard. The muffins? Pre-scooped batter pucks, flash frozen and shipped in bulk. Those chocolate chip cookies? Frozen dough discs that get popped on a tray." Walk into the back of a Costco bakery and you will find a freezer the size of a small apartment. Boxes stacked floor to ceiling, everything wrapped in industrial plastic. One former manager shared a photo of the storage area with the caption, "This is what fresh baked looks like before the marketing team gets to it." The image showed rows of identical boxes labeled with codes, dates, and the words, "Keep frozen until use." It looked less like a bakery and more like a frozen food warehouse, because that is exactly what it is. The term they love to use is par-baked. It means the items are partially cooked at a factory, frozen, shipped, and then finished on site. Technically, yes, they are baked at your local Costco. But the dough was mixed weeks ago, hundreds or thousands of miles away, by machines in a facility you will never see. The smell that fills the store? That is real. The baking process? Also real. But the illusion of a local bakery crafting goods from scratch? That is pure theater. So, why does this matter? Because there is a massive difference in quality, texture, and taste between true fresh baked goods and frozen then reheated ones. Real bakeries use fresh ingredients daily. The dough is mixed that morning. The butter is real, not pre-blended into frozen sheets. You are paying bakery prices for factory food with a warm-up service. One customer review summed it up perfectly. "I thought I was buying artisan. Turns out I bought a Hot Pocket with better PR." But frozen is just the beginning of what is hiding inside those oversized pastries. Because when you look at what is actually in them, the ingredient list reads less like a recipe and more like a chemistry experiment. You might think you are making a reasonable choice, grabbing a muffin instead of a donut for breakfast. Plot twist: Costco's muffins have more sugar than 3 glazed donuts combined. We are not exaggerating for effect. We are talking about cold, hard nutritional facts that Costco hopes you will not bother reading on the label. That innocent-looking blueberry muffin? It is packing around 60 grams of sugar. For context, the American Heart Association recommends men consume no more than 36 grams of added sugar per day. Women, 25 grams. One Costco muffin does not just exceed your daily limit. It doubles it before you have even finished your coffee. Let us talk about the infamous double chocolate muffin. This beast clocks in at over 700 calories and contains roughly 70 grams of sugar. That is more sugar than you would find in 2 cans of Coca-Cola. It is more calories than a Big Mac. You are not eating breakfast. You are eating dessert disguised as a morning pastry. And here is the kicker. The label lists it as 2 servings. 2. Who eats half a muffin and saves the rest for later? Nobody. That is not how muffins work. That is not how humans work. The banana nut muffins and bran muffins get marketed as the healthier options. Bananas. Bran. Sounds wholesome, right? Wrong. These still contain between 50 and 60 grams of sugar each. The bran muffin, that symbol of sensible eating, has more sugar than a Snickers bar. At least the Snickers bar is honest about what it is. A customer once posted a side-by-side comparison photo with the caption, "Realized my healthy breakfast muffin has more sugar than my kids' Halloween candy. I have been lied to." Costco's cookies are not much better. A single chocolate chip cookie weighs in at around 210 calories with 24 grams of sugar. But again, who eats just one? The package contains 24 cookies, and they are sitting on your counter, staring at you, whispering sweet nothings about how you deserve a treat. Before you know it, you have had 3, and you have just consumed more sugar than a venti caramel frappuccino. The real problem is not just the amount of sugar, it is how it is hidden. Costco's ingredient lists read like a sugar alias directory. You will find dextrose, maltose, corn syrup solids, high fructose corn syrup, and cane sugar all in the same product. They are not just adding sugar. They are layering different types of sugar so it does not look as bad on the nutrition label. It is sugar stacking, and it is a trick as old as processed food itself. Even the fruit fillings are mostly corn syrup with a few token berries thrown in for color. One employee joked that the blueberry muffins should be called corn syrup muffins with blueberry essence. The strawberries in the Danish? More like strawberry-flavored gel with texture chunks. You are not getting fruit. You are getting the idea of fruit, processed and sweetened, until it barely resembles anything that grew on a plant. And here is what that much sugar does to your body. You get a massive blood sugar spike within 30 minutes of eating. You feel energized, alert, maybe even happy. Then comes the crash. By mid-morning, you are exhausted, irritable, and craving more sugar to get that high back. It is not breakfast, it is a trap. Starting your day with a Costco muffin is like starting a marathon by shooting yourself in the foot. But if the sugar content does not concern you, wait until you hear what else is in there. Because Costco's bakery items do not just have too much sugar. They have ingredients that make them last longer than they have any right to. Ever notice how Costco's bakery bread can sit on your counter for 2 weeks without molding? That is not because it is so fresh. It is because it is so chemically enhanced that mold will not even touch it. Real bread, the kind made with flour, water, yeast, and salt, starts going stale within a day or 2. It molds within a week if left out. That is what actual bread does. But Costco's bread? It defies nature. And there is a reason for that. It is loaded with preservatives, dough conditioners, emulsifiers, and shelf life extenders that turn a simple loaf into a chemistry experiment you can eat. Let us break down what is actually in there. Calcium propionate, a mold inhibitor that keeps bread looking fresh long after it should have expired. Azodicarbonamide, a dough conditioner that makes bread soft and springy. Fun fact, this same chemical is used in the production of yoga mats and shoe soles. It is banned as a food additive in Europe and Australia, but here in the United States, it is perfectly legal to bake it into your dinner rolls. Then there is DATEM, which stands for diacetyl tartaric acid ester of monoglycerides. Try saying that 3 times fast. It is a dough strengthener that helps industrial bakeries produce uniform texture across thousands of units. A simple homemade loaf of bread has about 5 ingredients. Costco's bakery bread, try 25 or more. Sodium stearoyl lactylate, monoglycerides and diglycerides, calcium sulfate, enzymes with names you cannot pronounce. Even high fructose corn syrup shows up in the bread because apparently everything needs to be sweetened now, even the things that are not supposed to be sweet. One former employee described it like this: "Our bread does not behave like real bread. It does not rise the same. It does not smell the same when it is baking. And it definitely does not rot the same. I have left a roll on the counter for 3 weeks just to see what would happen. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Another worker shared a video of the ingredient label on a box of bagels. The list was so long it wrapped around the side of the package twice. The top comment read, "I've seen shorter terms of service agreements." Someone else wrote, "If your bagel has more ingredients than your shampoo, you might want to rethink breakfast." The video went viral, racking up millions of views, and Costco never addressed it. Because what are they supposed to say? Yes, we use industrial additives to make food that can survive a nuclear winter? Here is the thing. These chemicals are not illegal. They are approved by the FDA. But approved does not mean harmless, and it certainly does not mean healthy. Some people report digestive issues after eating heavily preserved bread, bloating, gas, stomach cramps. Others have allergic reactions to specific preservatives. And while the long-term effects of consuming these additives daily are still being studied, the fact remains. You are eating substances designed for factories, not kitchens. Costco markets their bakery items as wholesome. The packaging shows wheat fields and rustic ovens. The in-store displays look warm and inviting. But the ingredient list tells a different story. It tells the story of mass production, cost-cutting, and making food that prioritizes shelf life over nutritional value. One customer ran an experiment, leaving a Costco bagel and a bakery bagel from a local shop on the counter side by side. The local bagel was hard as a rock by day 3 and showed mold by day 7. The Costco bagel, still soft on day 14, still no mold on day 21. That is not freshness. That is preservation on a level that should make you uncomfortable. But chemicals and sugar are not the only problems with buying bakery items in bulk. Because when you are buying 18 muffins at once, there is a pretty good chance you are not actually going to eat 18 muffins. And that creates a whole new set of issues. Costco's entire business model relies on making you think bigger is better value. But when it comes to bakery items, that king-sized package might be costing you a lot more than just money. It is costing you your health, your storage space, and probably your sanity when you are forcing yourself to eat stale muffins on day 9 because you cannot stand the guilt of throwing them away. The psychology is brilliant, really. You see 12 muffins for $10 and think you are saving compared to buying one muffin for $3 at a coffee shop, but here is the math they do not want you to do. How many of those 12 muffins actually get eaten before they go bad? Studies on food waste show that the average family throws away 30 to 40% of bulk bakery purchases. Let that sink in. You are literally paying money to fill your trash can. A family of 4 cannot realistically consume 18 muffins, 36 dinner rolls, or a sheet cake the size of a coffee table before those items start tasting like cardboard. Even with all those preservatives we just talked about, baked goods eventually lose their appeal. They get dry, they get stale, they get shoved to the back of the counter until someone finally admits defeat and tosses them. One customer posted a photo on social media of a garbage bag filled with Costco croissants. The caption, "Bought 24, ate 4, threw away 20. I am part of the problem." The comments section turned into a confession booth. People admitted to freezing muffins that never got eaten. Others talked about guilt eating stale Danishes for a week straight. One person wrote, "I have been microwaving rock-hard bagels for 3 days, trying to salvage my dignity and my $12. Another said, "My freezer is a graveyard of good intentions and bulk bakery regrets." Let us talk about what you are actually paying per consumed item. Say you buy a 12-pack of muffins for $10. That is 83 cents per muffin. Great deal, right? But if you only eat 7 before the rest goes stale, you actually paid $1.43 per muffin. And that is assuming you ate them at normal pace and did not force-feed yourself out of guilt. The value disappears the moment food hits the trash. You are not saving money. You are prepaying for waste. Then there is the pressure to overeat. You bought 2 dozen cookies. They are sitting there. You do not want them to go bad, so you eat more than you normally would. You give them to your kids for breakfast, even though you know it is basically cake. You bring them to work, and become that person desperately pawning off baked goods in the break room. The bulk purchase creates a psychological obligation. You feel like you have to finish it because you paid for it. It is the sunk cost fallacy in pastry form. Storage is another nightmare. Where do you even put a 3-pound container of croissants? They take up half your counter. They do not fit in normal bread boxes. You cannot close the pantry door because there is a giant plastic clamshell of muffins in the way. One reviewer joked that they had to rearrange their entire kitchen to accommodate Costco bakery hauls. Another said their counter looked like a bakery exploded and they were living in the aftermath. And freezing does not solve the problem. Sure, you can freeze muffins, but frozen and thawed baked goods lose texture. They get soggy. They get freezer burn. That blueberry muffin you froze with such optimism 2 months ago? It now tastes like a frozen sponge with vague berry memories. You are not preserving quality, you are delaying disappointment. The environmental impact is not small either. All that wasted food, all that plastic packaging. Costco's bakery clamshells are massive, and most are not recyclable in standard programs. You are generating waste at every level. Purchase waste, food waste, packaging waste. It is the trifecta of bad decisions wrapped in the illusion of savings. But even if you manage to eat everything, even if waste is not your issue, there is one more secret about Costco's bakery that could affect your health directly. And this one is not about what is in the food. It is about what is not supposed to be in it. See those tiny allergen warnings on Costco's bakery labels? The ones that say may contain basically everything? That is not just legal protection. That is a warning about what really happens in their high-volume bakeries. Because when you are producing thousands of muffins, cookies, and breads on the same equipment every single day, cross-contamination is not a possibility. It is a guarantee. And for people with allergies or sensitivities, that little disclaimer is the difference between a safe snack and a trip to the emergency room. Here is what most people do not know. Costco's bakery items are made on shared production lines. The same mixers that blend peanut butter cookies also mix sugar cookies. The same conveyor belts that carry almond croissants also carry plain croissants. The same ovens, the same cooling racks, the same packaging stations. Everything touches everything. And while there are supposed to be cleaning protocols between products, the reality of high-volume production makes thorough sanitation nearly impossible. A former bakery worker put it bluntly, "We wiped down equipment between batches, but we did not deep clean. There was not time. The line had to keep moving." That may contain warning on the label is not hypothetical. It is a confession. May contain peanuts, may contain tree nuts, may contain milk, may contain eggs, may contain soy, may contain wheat. At a certain point, it is easier to list what it does not contain. One parent posted a photo of a Costco muffin label with every allergen box checked and wrote, "Trying to find something my kid can eat here is like playing Russian roulette with anaphylaxis." The post went viral. Hundreds of parents shared similar frustrations. Some shared stories of reactions their children had to supposedly safe items. One customer reported finding visible almond pieces in a chocolate chip cookie. Another found walnut fragments in a blueberry muffin. These were not accidents. They were evidence of cross-contact that the labels already warned about, but most people do not read those warnings until it is too late. A reviewer with a severe nut allergy wrote, "I trusted the product description. It did not list nuts. I ended up in the ER with my throat closing. The doctor asked if I read the fine print. I had not. Now I do." The volume problem makes precision impossible. When you are making 10,000 muffins a day, quality control becomes a numbers game. A few stray almonds in a batch of 6,000? Statistically insignificant. For the person who bites into one? Potentially life-threatening. Industrial-scale baking cannot provide the same level of safety as small batch production. It is just math. More products, more equipment, more opportunities for something to go wrong. Even the labeling is vague enough to be meaningless. What does manufactured in a facility that processes tree nuts actually tell you? It tells you that somewhere in the building, tree nuts exist. It does not tell you if your specific product touched those nuts. It does not tell you how thorough the cleaning was. It does not tell you what the contamination risk actually is. It just covers the company legally, while leaving you to guess whether that muffin is safe or not. People with celiac disease face similar issues. While Costco does not claim their regular bakery items are gluten-free, cross-contact with gluten can still affect those with extreme sensitivity. Flour dust in the air, shared utensils, residue on surfaces. One employee admitted, "Flour gets everywhere. We are covered in it by the end of a shift. It is on the walls, the floors, the equipment. You cannot contain it in a space that produces thousands of baked goods daily." And it is not just customers at risk. Bakery workers themselves report respiratory issues from constant flour exposure, skin irritation from handling dough with preservatives and additives, allergic reactions to cleaning chemicals used on equipment. One former employee said they developed a chronic cough after 6 months in the bakery and had to transfer departments. Another said the air quality was so poor they started wearing a mask long before it was trendy. For parents buying snacks for school lunches, for people managing food allergies, for anyone with dietary restrictions, Costco's bakery is a minefield disguised as convenience. And the worst part? The warnings are there. They are just written in font so small and language so vague that most people ignore them until something goes wrong. So what does all this mean for your next Costco bakery run? Let us wrap this up and talk about what you actually need to know before you swipe that membership card. Remember that warm bakery smell we talked about at the beginning? The one that makes you reach for your wallet before you even think twice? Now you know what it is really masking. Here is the reality. Costco's bakery is not inherently evil. It is just optimized for profit, not for health. Every decision, from the frozen dough to the preservative-heavy recipes to the oversized portions, is designed to maximize efficiency and minimize cost. Your well-being is not part of that equation. Your satisfaction is only important insofar as it keeps you coming back. And the membership model ensures that even if you are disappointed, you have already paid for the privilege of shopping there. It is brilliant business. It is just not great for consumers who assume bigger and cheaper means better. This does not mean you should never buy from Costco's bakery again, but it does mean you should make informed choices. Ask yourself if you really need 18 muffins, or if you are just buying them because the unit price looks good. Calculate what you will actually consume versus what will end up in the trash. That is what we do here. We pull back the curtain. We ask the uncomfortable questions. We tell you what is really on your plate and in your shopping cart, even when the truth is not appetizing. If this video changed how you see Costco's bakery, hit that like button. If you want more food, if this opened your eyes, smash that like button. Subscribe for more videos that expose what the food industry does not want you to know. Comment below. Did you know about these bakery secrets? What is your Costco bakery story? Have you dealt with the bulk waste problem? Share your experience. Let people know what they are really buying. The truth is not always on the menu, but it is always worth knowing. Thanks for watching. Now go check what is sitting in your pantry. We will wait.